What is this? Money? Sure, it's a type of money known as fiat currency. The word fiat is Latin for let it be done, which we use now to mean an arbitrary order or formal decree. And this particular fiat currency, US dollars, are created by a private central bank called the Federal Reserve. So combining the words fiat currency with the fact that it's created by the Federal Reserve, it means that the Federal Reserve arbitrarily decrees that this is what should be used to transact in the United States, and the US government declares it legal. It's not backed by anything, not physical commodities like gold or silver, not real estate, no real assets at all. It's just backed by the full faith and trust of the US government. More specifically, its ability to pay its debts. And where does the US government's debt come from? Well, actually, this money, this type of money, this US fiat currency is actually debt. Because these US dollars are created by the Federal Reserve, a private central bank, which they loan to the US government with interest. And it says just that right here in plain sight on every dollar. Check it out. Federal Reserve note. This note is a legal tender for all debts, public and private. And in finance, the word note means a legal document representing a loan made from an issuer, in this case the Federal Reserve, to a creditor or investor, which in most cases is the US government and other banks with interest, which other banks then turn around and loan to us with additional interest on top of it when we buy houses, cars, etc. So this is the technical financial definition of what this is. This is what they teach us in college if you pursue a finance degree. They don't teach us or even mention any of this to us as kids growing up in the US school system. Why? Because the more accurate definition of this type of money, fiat currency, US dollars, is that it is a system of control that was actually designed to enslave us all. It's a rigged game that was deliberately created to benefit the people in charge of its creation, the private central banks, their political, bureaucratic puppets in the government, and their corporate cronies, big businesses, at everyone else's expense. At our expense. Most egregiously, at the expense of our freedom. Our non-renewable, unknown amount of time we have here together. So basically at the expense of all of our lives and the lives of our friends and families. Why? Because globalist elites want to completely control us. Check it out. Why aren't we hopping on a private jet to hang out in Bali for a month? We have to go to work. Why don't we ask to take off work? Because our work won't let us? Why would we choose to work at a place that doesn't let us take that much time off at such short notice? Sounds like they, control our lives. Let's say they do let us use our time freely, however we want. Still can't go because why? We can't afford the trip? But what if we just wanted to take a month off to just chill and not spend a lot of money on a trip? Can't do that because why? Can't afford to not work for that long. System of control. Enslavement. So sure, that's an extreme example, but why do we live where we live? Is it the ideal place we'd like to live? Or would we rather live in a better neighborhood, a bigger house if we had the money? What about our car? Why do we drive the car we drive? Would it be a different car if we had the money? Now, what if we don't have a house or a car? Would we rather if we had the money? How about the food we buy? Would we buy different food if we had the money? How about how we are spending our time, our most precious non-renewable resource that we don't know how much of it we have left? Would we be living a different life if we had the money? Why are we all working so much and getting absolutely nowhere financially? And why do most of us barely know anything about finance and money? Because if we did, we would all be better at playing the game, we would have more power and freedom, and if we all really knew what was happening, there would be likely a massive revolution. And that's why money is a system of control, a rigged game. It was literally designed to enslave us. And in order to break free from the system and have a chance at being successful at a game that's rigged against us, we need to know the rules, how it works, and how politicians, big businesses, and banks trick us into staying and remaining as poor as possible. Hello, I'm Crypto Casey, and in this video we are going to learn about the current situation with money, how we got here, what the globalists' future plans for money are, and how we can potentially protect ourselves by having some of our wealth in the form of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ether, and more. Let's hit it. Please be sure to check out our sponsors, iTrustCapital, HeatBit, and Tangent Wallet. Buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrencies, as well as gold and silver tax-free with your own IRA or individual retirement account, or roll over your current 401k with iTrustCapital. Passively invest in Bitcoin while warming and purifying the air in your home or office with HeatBit Mini, a space heater that is also an easy-to-use Bitcoin mining rig, which we explore together in this video. And invest in your very own cold storage hardware wallet like Tangent Wallet. Their new Tangent wallet is out with a ton of new cool features, has a sleek black matte design, is the size of a credit card, multi-currency, multi-chain, and it's by far the easiest crypto wallet to set up and use on the market right now, and is extremely affordable. So scroll down and use links below to access the correct and official sites, as well as redeem any special offers they have for us. Sweet. Money is essential to human cooperation, is as old as civilization itself, and is humanity's most important technology today. It has become a prism through which we perceive the world, and it has been horribly corrupted. This corruption affects us in many ways. It affects how we think, how we act, and how we treat each other. On the channel, we have explored how we got here, the history of the US dollar, how it was created, and the sketchy story behind the creation of the Federal Reserve, the United States' third private central bank, which you can check out by clicking on the link above. So in this video, we are going to explore how our civilization is part of an 8-stage cycle that has repeated throughout history, where we currently are in the cycle, where we are heading, and what we can do to prepare for it. Here's a great quote from Scottish advocate, judge, and historian Alexander Fraser Tytler. A democracy cannot exist as a permanent form of government. It can only exist until the voters discover that they can vote themselves largesse from the public treasury. From that moment on, the majority always votes for the candidates promising the most benefits from the public treasury, with the result that a democracy always collapses over loose fiscal policy, always followed by dictatorship. The average age of the world's greatest civilizations has been 200 years. These nations have progressed through this sequence, from bondage to spiritual faith, from spiritual faith to great courage, from courage to liberty, from liberty to abundance, from abundance to selfishness, from selfishness to apathy, from apathy to dependence, from dependence back into bondage. So considering our modern society, particularly in the US and similar, which stage do you think we're in? Let me know in the comments below. It appears that we are quickly transitioning from apathy to dependence. And founding father Benjamin Franklin famously wrote this warning to us, which we did not heed. When people find they can vote themselves money, that will be the end of the republic. And that's what has happened. The way that money enters into the economy, flows through the economy, is completely rigged. It's unequally distributed, and even when we do come into some money, it is stolen through taxation and inflation as the purchasing power constantly decreases. Politicians vote to give themselves and their corporate cronies money from the private central bank, the Federal Reserve, which makes money by putting us into an endless debt spiral that is out of control. And other banks are also creators of money when they put us individually into debt with loans. When banks loan us money, they are creating it out of thin air, which increases the supply of money in circulation. And the fact that banks create money out of nothing is suppressed and largely unknown by the masses by design because it benefits a few while harming the rest of us. So it makes banks extremely powerful because at the end of the day, they get to determine who gets access to capital. And what people with access to capital do with their money has huge effects on the economy. So if banks create money for a person or company to buy real estate, they are essentially pumping money into the real estate market, which causes prices to rise. If banks create money for a person or company to use to consume goods or services, they are essentially causing inflation. And when banks lend money to people or companies for assets, it creates asset bubbles that burst, which causes banking crises. This is what caused the 2008 recession. Banks created money out of thin air for everyone to pump into the housing market, and when everyone couldn't afford to pay the loans, the housing bubble burst and took down a lot of banks with it. So the people or entities that create money are deciding when new money enters the economy, where it enters the economy, as in which sector or industry it goes, and for what purpose, whether it is for asset purchases, consumerism, or business growth, and ultimately, which people or entities get the money. So what's important to note is when new money enters the economy, it is not equally distributed across the economy. It is not equally distributed across sectors, across asset classes, and most importantly, it's not equally distributed among people and businesses. When new money enters the economy, it first goes to bankers, bureaucrats, and politicians. They are the first to reap the benefits of new money, and this unequal distribution of money impacts individual wealth, and is the key cause and driver of injustices in our modern society. Because when banks give their friends money, they get to spend it on whatever they want, which is usually commodities and other valuable assets, and they are also afforded the opportunity to take advantage of arbitrage. Here's how. Since they get new money first, They get first dibs on using it to buy real estate, for example. And when they are buying up all the real estate, the new money pumped into the real estate sector causes prices to increase. And by the time the money trickles down to regular people like you and I, we are unfortunately priced out. And we've been seeing this since the money printer was fired up to prop up the economy during the pandemic. What else went up? Stocks. And all the bankers, bureaucrats, and politicians got their money first, bought stocks, and by the time we got our money, stocks, of course, were already climbing. And banks, bureaucrats, and politicians are able to buy things at reduced prices, therefore have massive financial advantages over everyone else. This phenomenon is called the Kantian effect, and to learn more about it, check out this video guide by clicking on the link above. Cool. So in addition to money being unequally distributed and stolen from us, we also do not have complete control over any money in our bank accounts. At any time, the bank or government can freeze our account, seize our account, take money from our account, or even flag us for what we spent money on from our bank account. Check it out just this week. Alarming surveillance. Feds asked banks to search private transactions for terms like MAGA, Trump. One bank allegedly handed over information to the FBI voluntarily without any legal process. Money. A rigged game. A system of control. Complete and utter enslavement of us all. And here's yet another way it's taken from us. From big corporations tricking us by perpetuating consumerism throughout social media and the mainstream media. Through a legal concept called corporate personhood, corporations have the same rights and protections as individuals, and so are treated morally and legally the same way as a person would, while their corporate entities remain separate and independent from the human beings associated with them. And since under corporate personhood, corporations have the right to free speech, they are allowed to use money to protect their interests and influence public opinion, which has been used to challenge restrictions on advertising and lobbying. So corporations have the right to unlimited political spending, which means they can literally spend unlimited amounts of money to buy elections and political outcomes. So basically, corporate personhood created a society where corporations buy politicians to buy favorable legal and regulatory frameworks for themselves and buy our attention to create favorable societies through media and advertising for generating profit. In fact, in the 1960s, popularly known as the golden age of advertising, we saw a rise in mass media and consumer culture, with corporations using advertising to promote materialism and consumerism, where people are encouraged to prioritize buying and consuming goods over their own health and well-being. So what does this all mean? Well, at some level, all of us since birth have been living in a world similar to The Truman Show, where a large aspect of our lives, what we've been exposed to, what we deem as culture, what we base our wants, needs, and goals off of, has been fabricated, bought and paid for by corporations that put profits over people, and are protected by a government full of politicians that are also bought and paid for that put profits over people. So at the end of the day, each and every one of us is a potential source of profit. Corporations want us to buy their brand clothing, to want their fancy cars, then to be depressed when we can't afford them, and get addicted to medication that is designed to generate profit for them by not ever curing you, and to get us addicted to food that slowly kills us and creates more health problems to make you a long-term medical profit center for the pharmaceutical industry. Get surgeries to look a certain way, worry about things that don't actually benefit our lives or fulfill us, to distract us from the fact that pretty much most of the reality as we know it around us was all created by corporations in order to increase their profits at any and all costs via short-term gain versus long-term sustainability. Their whole agenda is to direct us to the superficial things in life. They want us angry at each other, distracted with things that don't matter, and to keep us barely alive as long as possible to extract as much money from us as possible. So ever since corporations were granted human rights and beyond, and use their rights and powers to fabricate a materialistic society based on consumption, the United States has been on the decline. Money, a rigged game, a system of control, complete and utter enslavement of us all. And what's on the horizon that will fully transition us from apathy to dependency stage of democracy? A central bank digital currency, where the central banks and government have complete control over our money, deducting taxes, parking tickets, alimony, child support, penalties, etc. from our paychecks before they hit our bank account, controlling how we spend our money, how much of certain things we can buy, or if we can even buy anything at all. We will be completely dependent on them, at their mercy. Money, a rigged game, a system of control, complete and utter enslavement of us all. Lame. And so now we are aware and understand more about money. the importance of Bitcoin and crypto becomes very, very obvious. Crypto isn't only about trading or speculating. It's about having complete control and ownership over value that is permissionless. We can use it anywhere in the world without having to open up bank accounts, go through KYC. The underlying technology is decentralized, so no person, government, corporation, or entity can control it, freeze it, or take it from us. We can freely transact and send as much money as we want between each other 24/7, 365 days a year, instantly and cheaply without having to fill out paperwork or any of that garbage. Crypto is the complete and total opposite of modern money. Crypto is freedom. Now is the time to start preparing for the transition from apathy to dependence, because what follows dependence is bondage, and it will be through a central bank digital currency, aka money, aka a system of control. Nice. So now is a great time to start unbanking yourself, and I'm going to show you how fast and easy it is to become your own bank and set up a cold storage hardware wallet in less than 60 seconds using Tangent Wallet. Opening the box here, we have the 3 cards with a new sleek matte black design. Next, installing the correct and official Tangent mobile app on our phones. And opening the app, tap Scan Card and touch one of the cards to your phone like so. Next, click Create Wallet and tap the card to your phone again. Nice. Now that we have a wallet, let's create backups of it. Tap Backup Now, and then tap Add a Backup Card, and tap the second card to your phone. Cool. Now tap Add a Backup Card again, and tap the third card to your phone. Then tap Finalize the backup process. And now we need to create an access code to secure the wallets. Tap Continue. Then type whatever word, phrase, numbers, or combination of text you want to use to access your wallet. Re-enter it to verify the access code. And then scan the primary card ending in the corresponding numbers on the screen that matches the card, holding it up to your phone until the operation is complete. Then repeat this process for the 2 backup cards. That's it, it's configured and ready to use. And if you would like to watch a full video on how Tangent works, check out this video guide by clicking on the link above, and scroll down and use the links below for a nice discount and to access the correct and official site. Awesome. If you would like to finally have that eureka moment about how cryptocurrency wallets, seed phrases, and private keys work, check out this video. If you would like to understand how Bitcoin works and why its revolutionary technology can help us maintain power over some of our wealth, check out this video. And to get your very own Tangent wallet, click on the link on the screen. Like and subscribe for more. Be safe out there.